Okay, and welcome back, students who are doing the Math for Business and Finance and Math applications. This is the Chapter 7 word problems, the odd-numbered problems, and we're picking up with problem 7-37, which is in the additional set of word problems. Okay, let me get there. There we go. Okay, so we have a local Barnes & Noble's paid $79.99 net price for each calculus textbook. The publisher offered 20% trade discount. What was the publisher's net price? So simple, $79.99, right? And it's asking for the publisher's list price, okay? It's not asking for, we're not talking about the discount, and the $79.99 is the net price, okay? Remember, think of it from this perspective. If I had $100 and I had a 20% discount, this is the list price, this is my discount, and my $80 would be my net price. Okay, well, that's what I'm looking at right there. The $79.99 is my net price. So I'm being offered a 20% trade discount. Because that's the net price, I can't take 20% of that, okay? Because that's what I'm doing right here. I'm taking 20% of that. The question is asking me, what's the list price right here, right? So in order to determine that, and notice I was multiplying. Well, in order to determine the list price, I'm going in the opposite direction. So I'm going to divide, okay? And I'm going to divide by 80%, right? 100% minus the 20% trade discount is 80%. So if I take the $79.99 and I divide it by 80%, I end up with $99.99, okay? And yeah, sure, I was using this example of 100 less a discount of 20 gives me 80, and whether that's a dollar or percent, you can see how this, um, that this makes sense. Here I'm multiplying. Well, if I have this number and I want to go, let me do it this way. If I'm starting here, I'm going this way, I'm multiplying, okay? But if I'm starting here and I want to go this way, I end up dividing, okay? And I'm dividing by the reciprocal or the complement of the 20% in order to get in this direction, okay? So if I'm going this direction, I take that straight discount amount, but if I'm going this direction, I'm taking the opposite, right? Maybe that's a little bit easier visual cue for you to understand what you do in these types of situations, okay? We're looking at a net price, and we're being asked what the list price is. Even though we're given the trade discount regardless of which way we're going, okay, we're working this problem backwards, and that's how we go about that. Okay, 7-39. Vail Ski Shop received a $1,201 invoice dated 7/8 with a 2% 10, 1% 15 net 30 terms on July 22nd. Let's see here. Did I write that in right? Yep, I wrote that in right. No, I didn't. Okay. I'm like, how could this partial payment be $4,865 when my invoice was only dated 12/01? Well, it's not 4,865. It's 485. Sorry for the typo error. Okay. So Vail sent a $485 partial payment. What credit should Vail receive? What is Vail's outstanding balance? Okay, remember problem 7-19 goes into the thought process behind all of this. So if you want to, I'm just going to work the problem, but if you want to see a little bit more of the thinking involved and the understanding of it, go and watch the video that included problem 7-19. So the invoice is dated 7/8, and The discount period for 2% is 10 days, which would be 7/18. That would be 2%. And if I have 1% for 15 days, right, that would be 7/23, which would be 1%. Okay. Well, if it's on July 22nd, all right, that falls within this period here, so I'm able to take a 1% discount. Right? Now, it says Vail sent a partial payment of $485. Okay, so if I'm paying $485 and I have a 1% discount, I'm going to divide by 100% minus 1% is 99%. So that's 0.99. So I could take the 485 and divide it by 0.99, and that's going to give me $489.90, which is the amount that should be credited to the account. There is the 4% plus the additional, I mean, not the 4%, there's the $485 plus an additional $4.90 for the 1% discount. Okay. And to find out what my outstanding balance is, I take the $1,201 and subtract the $489.90, and that ends up giving me a balance of that's 10, that's 1, 1. That gives me a balance of $711.10. So my credit received is $489.90, and the balance on the account is $711.10. All right. Again, go back and watch that video 7-19 in order to see the thought process behind that. 7-41. Okay. Bankers Financial Planners purchased 7 new computers for $850 each. So 7 computers at $850 each. It received a 15% discount because it purchased more than 5, so that's a quantity discount. An additional 6% because of delivery. So I have a delivery discount. Terms of payment were 2% 10, net 30. Baker's pays the bill within the cash discount period. So it's paying within the 2% 10. How much should the check be? And we're going to round to the nearest cent. Okay, so if they have 7 computers at $850, that comes out to $5,950. That's the price of all 6 computers. Okay, so now I have, let's see here, I have a chain discount, right? Because I have 15% and 6%, so 15% times 6% gives me, oops, I'm sorry, it's not 15% and 6%. All right, sorry, I take the opposite of that. 100 minus 15% is 85%, and 100 minus 6% is 94%. So if I multiply 95% times 94%, I end up with 79.9%, and in decimal form, that's 0.799. Right, so that's the percentage I'm going to use. And I take my 5,950, and I multiply that by my chain discount. All right, that was 0.799. That gives me a net price of $4,950. $754.05. Okay, now remember, you're taking all of your other discounts before you take your term discounts. Okay, for the simple reason you don't know when that invoice is going to be paid, but they are, it's like you walk in the store and you get a 20% off on whatever you buy, you take that immediately. But if you're buying it on, on credit on account as like an accounts receivable, yeah, you're getting that 20% discount up front, but you can't get the terms discount because you don't know when it's going to be paid. If you don't pay within a discount period, you don't get it. Okay, and if you do, that's when you take it off. So it says here, Baker's pays the bill within the cash discount period of 2%, right? And since we want to know how much the check should be, I'm not interested in the discount amount of 2%. I'm interested in the net, so it's 100% minus the 2%, or 98%, that I multiply the 4,754.05 by, and that gives me a final amount that's owed of $4,658.97. Okay. And of course, if we want to know what the total amount of the discount is, we can take the 59.50 and subtract the 46.58.97, and the difference between the two is how much the actual discount amount was. Okay. All right, so with that said, I'm going to move on in the next video with the next problem.